All right, welcome to Valuable Coaching. Happy Thursday. Uh, we're really so happy that there's been people jumping on and subscribing on our YouTube channel. Please like our videos. Helps us find out people are liking the content. Ask us some questions. Also, subscribe on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor, Breaker, Pocket Casts. And again, give us some feedback. We'd love to hear what people are liking and what they think we could improve on. Also, we want to thank One Stone Apparel. They do an awesome job making clothes for physical education. It would be great for volleyball camps, sports camps. They do these great character words on the back. And that's one of the things we've been hearing from a lot of our coaches we've interviewed so far and club directors is that they want to build character, not just great athletes, but athletes that are there with good character. So these shirts have great words on the back. You can use them in drills. You can help use them to teach some of that as you go through practices, as you go through camps. And email Dave at onestoneapparel.com. Again, that's Dave at onestoneapparel.com, and he'll be able to help you out. Great selection of logos. You can put your own logo in there. No extra charge. It's great service. Today, I want us to take a look at a couple clips that I've got from Cal Berkeley head coach Sam Crosson and from Menlo coach Todd Hollenbeck, both speaking about COVID, both in slightly different ways. One is really talking about how he used this COVID time without practice as a time to really do some team building and build up that character. And then another really speaking more toward youth and kind of this prime time for them to get out and find something to do and be active, continue to be active, and be creative about how they do that. So let's take a look at these, and then we'll break them down a little bit.
We kind of went into a little more of the connection of the players, kind of a deep dive into self, but also just our relationships with one another. And so what we did is we came up with a list of about 5 or 6 different movies and a weekly song brought to you by yours truly here, which obviously I'm probably dating myself a little bit with what my musical genres are like compared to our roster. But a fair amount of classic rock. Movies such as Fight Club, Moneyball. The one we just did was Hidden Figures. Some of the songs that we had them listen to. Stairway to Heaven, If Six Were Nine by Jimi Hendrix, Touch of Grey by the Grateful Dead. And honestly, I didn't have this planned, but along with all that was going on just in our country at the time too, kind of after June and the social justice push and Cal's a big, social justice campus. But a lot of these things in terms of the musical stuff really kind of had a connection to, obviously back in the 60s with what was going on with, all kind of the counterculture and, artists like, Led Zeppelin and Jimi Hendrix and some of the songs we're listening to. It was interesting to kind of hear these ladies kind of talk about, what they pulled, particularly what messages did they hear. And it was an interesting experiment, to be honest. I didn't really know how it would turn out. It's not something I've ever done before. But it really had, I think, a positive impact on our group. I think it kind of opened all of our eyes, myself included, to actually be around, even if it's just for an hour, but to listen to some of these players talk about, how these songs made them feel, what they heard in terms of messages, what were the messages of the movies. And I tasked them really with trying to kind of conglom those two things. Like when you watch Fight Club, what speaks to you there, but also what can you tangent or what can you draw from Fight Club that would be applicable to us as a volleyball program, or specific songs, if you will. So it was really an awesome kind of time frame. And honestly, it's one where, you don't obviously get a lot of time with these players, especially at Cal, right? My first year, just because they come in the morning, we have practice up until about 11:30, 12. And then they've got their full academic load, which for a lot of them is pretty long in the day. So,
I think just for kids right now, it's super important to get out and do something, whether it's volleyball or not. Find an activity, get out. I mean, these are prime hours of youth that need to be out there, I don't know, playing basketball, playing volleyball, playing something. to keep them active, keep their brains moving. I mean, it's a tough time, but I think that this is also a time that if you're gritty enough, you're going to come out on top. And, you know, I think that a lot of kids are just kind of getting sucked into social media, inside computers, all this stuff where it's like, you know, we need some thinkers out there that say, hey, this is, you know, I need more, I want more, and be willing to use this kind of crazy scenario we're in to an advantage. I think some kids aren't, and we need to keep pushing kids to, you know, think outside the box.
All right. That's a great message to end on. Again, thank you so much, Todd, for being on tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
All right. That's some great wisdom from both those coaches. You know, I love how Sam Crosson said really that he looked for the opportunity in this time and looked for the blessing in this time, how he could get his team better. You know, Kevin and I think said something about it yesterday, is that you could look at game film till you're blue in the face and really then get tired of the volleyball aspect of being on that team. But, you know, Coach Crosson went ahead and took, you know, some things that he liked, and he gave his players a space to talk and to get to know each other and to get their opinions out there. And, you know, that builds trust in not only your coach, but also in your players. You know, and I'm sure as those girls go through this, they're relaying back to their family, you know, how great of an experience they're still getting during this time, even though they're not really able to do the sport that they are there for. You know, I think as coaches, teachers, you know, whatever level you're coaching, you know, there's always a way to find a way to interject, you know, some leadership and some character building in there. And, you know, I really think Sam Crosson came up with an excellent way to be able to do that. You know, and then to Todd's point, you know, these are prime hours where, you know, we may be missing out on, you know, specific team sports, but, you know, kids can be creative if you allow them to be, and you can find ways to be active. You know, coaches need to find ways to be creative, get online, you know, use their platform to keep kids motivated and keep them going, and let them know that, you know, just because they can't go out right now and play the sport that they love, you know, whether that's volleyball or another sport, that, you know, you can find ways to get better. You know, you can get in better condition, you can work on very specific skills, and, you know, you're going to come out on the other end of this, you know, at a great level. You know, I've been trying to look at the positives for this, you know, for students as well, and relay that. And, you know, one thing that I think a lot of students maybe are taking for granted is how well versed they're going to be at using the computer as they move forward. And it's going to give them, you know, a lot more knowledge about how they use all the programs on the computer, not just how to click through things on their cell phone. So this is a great time as coaches for us to challenge ourselves to motivate players. You know, it's a great time for players to get creative, make sure that they're challenging themselves if they really, you know, want to continue to move forward and be prepared when they get the opportunity to play again. You know, and as parents, you know, we need to allow for some opportunities and, you know, find what balance of safety and activity you can allow your kid to do it, and, you know, continue to allow them to grow and become better at the sports they love, at being fit and at being healthy. So, you know, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. It's a little shorter, but we got 2 long-form interviews tonight. You know, 2 great coaches, Coach Chris Thomas, head women's coach, University of Illinois. You know, great coach, been through a lot, played professionally. He's a great leader. And then Coach Nikki, who Kevin talked about a little bit yesterday, great coach, coaching men's and women's volleyball. And, you know, we're really looking forward to hear what they have to say, not only about how they coach, how they've played in the past, but also how they're leading people through this time. So anyway, stay tuned for those episodes coming up. Thank you so much. Again, subscribe to us, like us, send us some questions, and, you know, we'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you guys so much.